What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. Today I want to talk to you about the new Chapter 2 update to the Age of War that launched today on all platforms. First and foremost, the biggest change with this update is the change to the Purge. The Purge is now an opt-in system that you will need to interact with your coffer in order to summon a Purge. With this rework comes a lot of differences to the Purge as well. There is now a forward operating base that must spawn around your base. That forward operating base is going to send enemies to your base. Now they are mainly going to target your entry points, and so you want to highly defend any areas where the Purge could enter through a door. Additionally, with the changes to the Purge, at this point in time you are only going to see human attackers. You see, the Purge is now meant to come and steal your treasure. With those Purge attackers come battering ram NPCs. These NPCs are specialized in breaking down your doors to get to your coffer. They do a high amount of damage to your doors and to building pieces, so it's good to prioritize them as a target before they reach your base. There's a couple of ways to tell that they are a battering ram enemy. They are listed as demolishers and they wear Stygian outfits. They will usually run straight past you in hopes of getting to your door and breaking it down. The other enemies that come in the Purge will target you, but those demolishers will run away to get to your door and cause havoc towards your building. With the new Purge system, it comes with a new messaging system as well. If the Purge does not have a place to spawn a forward operating base, or it feels like it cannot reach your coffer, it will not spawn in, and you will be prompted with a message that lets you know that the Purge is unable to reach the targeted location. There are 3 ways that the Purge can end. 2 of them are failures and 1 of them is a pass. The failures would consist of A, the Purge stealing enough of your loot that they don't feel like they need to send any more waves to your base. The second way you can fail a Purge is if the demolishers cause damage to your base or your coffer in a way that makes your coffer no longer accessible for the Purge. The third way to end the Purge is to win against the Purge. Essentially, you need to fight off waves of attackers until the Stygian Hand of War challenges you to a fight. When you defeat the Stygian Hand of War, he will drop keys, and that is what you use in order to loot the Stygian forward operating base. The higher the level of the Purge you summon, the better rewards you will find in the forward operating base. There are multiple chests and cages for you to interact with. The chests will give you loot, and the cages will give you thralls. From time to time, you may find a new NPC in the cages that will actually engage in trade for gold coins, and he can sell you things like mercenary banners or different items to help you defend against your next Purge. There are currently 10 different levels of difficulty, with 1 being the least difficult and 10 being the most difficult. These are affected by the amount of loot that you have in your coffer, so you can decide how much loot to put in there and what level of Purge you want to summon. The enemies that attack you during the Purge are not able to be thralled, so you no longer have to switch between your weapon and your truncheon in order to knock something out. It's simply not possible to knock anything out that comes in the waves of the Purge. The only way to obtain thralls from the Purge is by opening the cages in the forward operating base. There's been a full loot revamp to the exiled lands and the Isle of Sipta. So you're going to find that items make more sense to the faction that you are looting them from. Additionally, the NPCs that you encounter have a chance of dropping the armor and weapons that they are using. Dungeons have also received a fresh coat of paint. In addition to finding more unique loot in the dungeons, you can also find different areas where they have added bosses, added more loot or more chests to the dungeons, and they have moved almost all of the legendary chests into the dungeons. So if you've got a stack of skeleton keys from killing the world bosses, then you'll need to take those into the dungeons to get a legendary weapon. Now there are still legendary chests that remain in the overworld, and I'll have those listed in a future video so that you know where to go to find them. So join your fellow exiles in subscribing to the channel so that you can be one of the first to see when I upload new videos. There have been quite a few building fixes, crafting fixes, combat fixes, and general bug fixes that have gone into effect with this patch. Many of you reported that you had issues loading in the southern hemisphere of the Isle of Sipta. That has been rectified. Additionally, you should be able to see the animals and NPCs and pets that you have placed on console. There have been some pretty big changes to combat, one of which is the ability to slightly turn during your attack so that you can be more precise about targeting your enemies. Additionally, hyper armor has been tweaked to the point where stagger feels more consistent than it did before. Now this does mean that you are going to find yourself interrupted at times that you weren't in the past. And if I give you a bit of unsolicited advice, I would say go out and engage in content that is lower than what you have engaged in the past. Get used to the way that combat works before you go and take on something that may be more challenging. Huge changes have come to PvP when it comes to the protection bubble and the avatar. The protection bubble has been completely removed from the game, and the avatars now deal 10% less damage, but they also last for 10 minutes. Additionally, you're able to exit the avatar at any point in time by pressing the crouch button. There have been a couple of perk changes. The Steel Thewid perk now prevents your character from taking more than 33% damage. That is up from 25% damage. So essentially, if something could do more than 33% of your health bar in damage in one hit, you will only take 33%. However, you will die in 3 hits instead of 4 with the new revamp Steel Thewid perk. Last Stand now lasts for 3 seconds instead of 6 seconds, so that effect has been halved. There's a really cool new feature for placing your follower thralls both at doorways and gates. All you need to do is pick them up to move them, and a ghost will appear next to that gate or that door and allow you to place them in that position. Events and encounters have been added back into the rotation of things that you may come across when you are exploring the Exiled Lands or the Isle of Sipta, so keep your eyes open for those. There are other quality of life improvements like legendary loot chests now being visually distinct from other loot chests, as well as general bug fixes that are listed in the patch notes, and I will link those in the description of this video if you want to get over and check them out. And I will be streaming the Chapter 2 update on my channel on September 22nd, 2023 at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you can make it by, it would be awesome to see you. And I'll also be giving away prizes like the Conan Exiles Complete Edition, as well as some DLCs. Don't forget to whack the like button on your way out, and let me know in the comments section below, what are you most excited for with the Age of War Chapter 2? I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button that says join on this page. Click that for details. There's 2 videos on the screen. Click one of those to watch next, and I'll meet you over there.